Halloween season is here, so I felt like I needed to do some, Halloween horror related videos. So let's rank all 6 Scream movies from the worst to the best. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek City. Now, last year I planned on doing this kind of Halloween horror thing where I would do a bunch of different rankings and reviews. But it never really worked out. I never actually did it. So this year I want to actually do justice with that and kind of actually do some different horror videos where I can rank some different franchises and do just random reviews of 2024 horror movies and whatnot. Just, Halloween related stuff this month. So I thought we would rank all 6 Scream movies. I want to mention this was very difficult because the Scream movies are actually pretty consistent. Let me know in the comments how you would rank these movies, because we all have different opinions, and that's okay. Just don't be a jerk about it in the comment section. If you disagree, let me know, and we can have a nice, friendly discussion. So let's not waste any time and get straight into this. So, coming in at number 6, I think this is pretty universal. Scream 3. Now, I just want to clarify, if this is the worst movie in your franchise, you're doing pretty good. This isn't a bad movie. It's good. It's good. And I feel like, if this is the worst movie in your horror franchise, then you're pretty consistent, which is, again, what most people say. Scream franchise is pretty consistent right now, or so far. Hopefully Scream 7's good. I think this is a good movie. I like the Hollywood setting. It gives you a lot of meta things you can talk about, and this movie is talking about some meta things involving, like, producers in Hollywood and how Hollywood can be corrupt. Funny that this is coming from the Weinsteins, but okay, whatever. I think that it does have some good things about it. But I feel like this movie is the weakest for a couple reasons here. Number one, there's not a lot of Sidney Prescott in here because she was filming. Neve Campbell was filming other movies at the time, so she didn't have as much screen time here. For like the first half of the movie, she's not really in it that much. The Ghostface in this movie is not very good. Now, this is the only Scream movie where there's only one Ghostface, so props to Ronan for that. But, he's kind of lame. At least I gotta make my movie. He's kind of, he's a total sissy, and I think everybody kind of agrees he's one of the weaker Ghostface. Even though, technically he was they made it to where he was, kind of the person responsible for everything that has happened. But I just can't buy into it because he's so weak. He's so lame. And so I can't buy into him being responsible for the events of the first movie. I just can't buy into that. Because watch the movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't like him as a Ghostface. There is some, corny stuff in here. I feel like this one's a little cheesy. Some of the kills aren't great. But again, I do like the movie. I like the Hollywood setting. I like some of the, commentary they have in here. I like that you get some, cameos. With the Silent Bob and all that. And then you have Carrie Fisher showing up. And there's still fun to be had here. It's not a bad movie. It's good. It's just when your franchise is pretty consistent, you're going to have one that's still considered the worst. And this movie just happens to be considered the worst. Again, not a bad movie. We have to have one in last place. Coming in at number 5, Scream 2. I think this is a little controversial. Some people consider this, the best sequel. And I disagree. For a long time, this was actually my least favorite. But after rewatching it, I that's changed a little bit. And I feel like, I've rewatched this movie multiple times. And I've always felt like it's good. But it's not as great as everybody says it is. The college setting, I like that. I like some of the new characters, like the cameraman dude, and then, Sydney's new boyfriend. I like, Cotton Weary. Actually, it's, being in this movie, he's, in a small cameo in the first film, but he's actually a real character in this one. I like that. So I do like some of the new characters. I do like the idea of, Billy's mom being a Ghostface in here, and then Mickey being kind of just being used to get her to be able to escape, and his motive is just he'll blame it on movies and all that. So the Ghostface in here aren't bad. I like the college setting. I like some of the new characters. But I do feel like Scream 2 and 3, again, kind of have a bit of a campy, aspect to it, which is fine. I feel like these movies all have something about them that's a little, comedy, but, like, there's stuff about, singing at the lunch table and all that, which was not good. And then there's stuff like the frat boys in here, and they're, like they put them on a cross and all that, which I don't know anything about fraternities. I don't know if they actually do that for their punishments. I don't know. Maybe that is, but I just highly doubt that. Again, I don't know. So maybe that's normal, but we'll see. I didn't like the opening scene of this movie. It's really unrealistic, which I know horror movies are usually never that realistic, but the fact that no one goes to a movie and is screaming the whole time. Unless it's like Spider-Man No Way Home where, you cheer at specific moments, but no one is watching a movie like it's a concert. And so that kill kind of just is ruined by the fact that someone would notice. People would be silent in their seats, so that doesn't really make much sense. And then the dude who gets stabbed through a bathroom stall door. That's how thick those things are. A small knife is not going to be going through that, but whatever. So I still like the movie, but I just have some issues with it, kind of with Scream 3. I still like the movie though. So coming in at number 4 is Scream 4. I like this one a lot more than Scream 2. I feel like there's a pretty decent gap in this one. I like what this movie's commenting on with kind of legacy sequels, and it's talking about torture porn like Saw movies, and there's a kill in here that's kind of mimicking that. This has one of the best kills in the whole franchise with Olivia. I think her name's Olivia. The only reason people know Olivia is because of her kill where, her guts are all over the room and everything. I like the killers. I like that in this movie. Technically, this is the best Ghostface because she gets away with it for she beats Sidney Prescott. The only reason she loses is because she slips up and says the wrong name, or she reveals that she was involved. So I feel like technically this has the best Ghostface because she almost gets away with it. So I like some of the new characters in here. I like crap. What's her name? The blonde chick. She shows up in Scream 6. Forgetting her name right now, but Hayden Panettiere's character. Forget her name. I like her. And apparently we're gonna have a spinoff with her, so that could be interesting. The other Ghostface, I forget that Charlie. I don't like him that much. And then there's the boyfriend, red herring dude. I forget his name. He's kind of lame. But I like a lot of the new characters, the new teenagers, and it's cool to see kind of how instead of our main 3 characters, they're no longer they're no longer teenagers. It's now they are the older ones. They're kind of being the mentors for these younger characters. So it's nice to see kind of the difference between those two. I kind of like that. So it's kind of showing how Sydney and all of them were in the first film compared to where they are now. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, I've always really dug this movie. The only issue with this movie, and this isn't a plot thing, it's just the camera in this movie is awful because it looks like someone took some Vaseline, and just smeared it all over the camera lens. So the entire movie, there's this weird reflection, and it looks really bad. It looks like someone smeared Vaseline all over the cameras. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was supposed to be some new style they were going for. It does not work. I don't know what they were doing there. But yeah, it's whatever. But I still really like this movie. I really dig it. I like what they did here. Coming in at number 3, Scream 6, the newest Scream movie. When I first saw this movie, I didn't know if it was going to be number 2 or number 3. And I think now that I've rewatched them all, I'd say this one's Scream 3, which is obviously still good. I still really, really like this movie. I saw it in theaters. This is the first Scream movie that I actually saw in theaters, and hopefully it won't be the last. If they ever actually get Scream 7 working. I know they have a release date, but we'll see. That production seems kind of doomed. But anyway, I feel like this movie is very much a solid sequel to Scream 5, where it takes, it's taking our core 4, as you would put them, and all the new characters from Scream 5 I thought were pretty good, but this movie is very much making them, way better. Chad, I loved him in this movie, and I thought they were going to kill him off, which is actually something we'll talk about later. I like the core 4 a lot. I thought Melissa Barrera did really good in this one. I know a lot of people hated her in the first one, or the first one that she's in, and I think she saw that, and everybody saw that, and I felt like she had something to prove there, and so she really just knocked it out of the park in this one, and I kind of hate that so many people hated on her in that first one. Of course, Jenna Ortega is really good. I like the New York setting. It gives us something different, which kind of doesn't come to full play here. And again, we'll talk about that later with the flaws of this movie. But I like the New York setting. Again, I like some of the new characters. Ethan, because we have the same name. And so yeah, I like a lot of the new characters in here. The kills in this one, this movie has the best kills. It does. Some people might say the first one has the best kills. I would argue this one does. The ladder kill where they're crossing through the apartments, even like the opening kills which was really cool. Again, in this movie for like 90% is just doing everything different. Where the opening scene, you see the masked killer take off his mask. You're like, what's going on here? I thought that was really cool. I just thought that was really cool. But then he gets to the final reveal of the movie, and it's just copying Scream 2, except with 3 killers instead of 2. I didn't hate it, but I also feel like if you're gonna make a whole movie that's intentionally trying to be different and you just copy Scream 2, then that's the problem there. I feel like that's just lazy. If your whole point of the movie is like, oh yeah, we're in New York, we're gonna reveal the Ghostface at the beginning of the movie. Look how different we're doing things, and then you reveal, and then you do the reveal, and it's just the same thing as Scream 2 with Richie's family. That's kind of defeating the purpose. And also, none of the main characters die. The core 4, all of them get stabbed like a bajillion times. Especially Chad, he gets stabbed by 2 different Ghostface, multiple, and he's fine. I forget her name. She gets stabbed in the subway by Ghostface. She should be dead. She should definitely be dead. I don't know how she survives that. Yeah. So I feel like they should have at least killed off one of them. Because it doesn't make any sense how all of them survive. That's kind of realistic. And then even Hayden Panettiere, she gets shot and she's good. So all the characters we care about, all the ones from the old returning films, they're good. They're fine. They're safe. Even Gale Weathers should have died in this one. I think it would have been a nice emotional punch, and it would have very much given us more urgency. But no, she's good. She's fine. It's just none of the returning characters that we care about, they all survive. It feels like there's no stakes. That's frustrating. Coming in at number 2, Scream 5, or what I feel like should have been called 5 Cream. And yeah, I thought that this was when I saw this movie for the first time, it really did blow me away. I love this movie, truly. I love everything it did. I think this movie has the best new characters. I love Richie, Jack Quaid, obviously, from The Boys, and all of the core 4, they're not as fleshed out in this one, but this introduces them, and all the ones that didn't survive, I like most of them too. This one also is very much commenting on requels. They have a whole speech about that, about where every Scream movie is commenting on stuff and horror, and this movie is commenting on legacy, sequels, and requels, and rebooting a franchise, but it's a sequel kinda. And this movie, as a huge Dewey fan, who's always my favorite character, I love how much screen time he gets. Where he gets more screen time than Gale and Sydney. Could his death may have been handled better? Yeah, I think it could have, but yeah, I feel like he would have double tapped before going in the elevator, and then he's like, oh, well, now he has to double tap, so he goes back to kill the Ghostface. If you don't know what double tap is, go watch Zombieland, or just any horror movie. Yeah. Horror does not do enough double tapping. I feel like people need to think a little more about that. But other than that, I think this is just a really, really good movie. I love what it's commenting on. I like all the different action and horror scenes in here. There's a lot of urgency in here. I like the Judy from Scream 4. She has a kid now, and that whole scene where she's rushing home to save her kid and they both get killed was just so messed up. The kills were really good, the one where it goes through the 13 Reasons Why kid, I forget his name, Dylan something, and they stab through his neck and all that. Oh, really good stuff there. And yeah, so I really, really dug it. I like the ghost faces in here. I like what's her face, Amber. Yeah, Amber. I thought she was a pretty good ghost face, a nice version of Stu. I like that the movie takes place at Stu's house. I feel like they shouldn't have revealed that in the trailer, but it's fine. It's whatever. So yeah, this gives us the best Dewey. I like a lot of the new characters. I love the kills. I love what it's commenting on. Overall, just a really good movie. But we all know it's going to be number 1. We're never topping Scream 1. I mean, we're not topping Scream 1 because It's just not happening, and I don't know what to say about this movie that, like, it just hasn't been said before, but I mean, this movie changed the game. This was at a time where I feel like horror movies kind of in a drought. Wes Craven comes in and just flips everything on his head. We go into a more comedic era, commenting on things in horror. Obviously, he has given us some iconic characters, iconic lines, iconic scenes and moments and kills, and just everything about this movie is iconic, and I think it's aged very, very well. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk about this one as much because I feel like everybody just knows how great of a movie this is, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing. Go watch the freaking movie. I don't know what you're doing here. Go watch the movie. Yeah, I love this movie, and the kill reveals and the jokes and the dialogue is so iconic. I could quote this whole movie. I've watched this movie, and I feel like I'm just quoting the whole movie because I love it so much. So nothing's ever gonna top this movie. I don't know why we're trying here. I don't think they're trying to top the first one because it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to let me know in the comments section how you would rank all of these movies. Make sure to let me know if you agreed or disagreed. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe. Turn on notifications so you're notified whenever I'm posting more horror Halloween videos. And as always, stay freaky. Freaktober, you know? Alright, fine. Stay geeky. Yeah.